My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and today I am actually doing a little bit of a test. I am actually live on B1 Nation. B1 Nation is our social media platform. It's a platform that we created for B1 people to get together and to talk to other B1 people about things going on in the B1 community. And so I want to welcome everybody from B1 Nation. Those who have not joined, you can actually join at b1nation.us. That's B, the number one nation.us. So tonight, it's a Sunday night, and I had a great weekend with my family, and it's been a lot of fun. And one of the things I want to talk about is Marvel movies. Why Marvel movies are now failing. Why why Marvel is not the franchise that it used to be. Why Marvel's having some problems that they've never had before. I personally think this is worth sort of discussing from a business standpoint, because you guys know that I am a business school professor. I have a PhD in finance. That's my background, and so I'm always deeply interested in issues that relate to economics and things that can actually help us to grow and get smarter when it comes to money. And so what I wanted to start with, generally, is first of all ask everybody: is anybody else a Marvel fan? Is anybody else sort of a fan of all the Marvel movies and and the Avengers and all that stuff? If you are a fan of the Avengers, let me know. And I'm going to tell you right now, straight up, point blank, period. I am a big fan of the Avengers. I think that the Avengers is a good franchise. I think Marvel has done a masterful job, a marvelous job at building a massive probably $100 billion franchise by now in terms of total economic value. I ain't mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. I think that that was masterful in building it, but what they have not been so masterful in is maintaining it and growing it into what it could be. It's they've probably oversaturated the market. I think that they've gone a little bit too far in the types of content that they put out. Putting out too much of the content. They put out a movie this weekend. Did anybody see that where they were promoting this movie, The Marvels? Did anybody see that? It was kind of a girl power kind of film that was coming out, and now, don't get me wrong. With the writer's strike, it was hard to market movies, right? So it's very difficult to tell everybody what you had going on during this writer's strike. But honestly, when I saw that movie and I saw the trailer, I said, "There's no way on earth this movie's going to do well. I just don't see how this movie is going to succeed." And it's not so much a thing about against the fact that they're empowered women. I mean, I have two daughters in my house, and I want them to be empowered, and they could have easily identified with the Marvels, but I kind of watch them to kind of understand what's working and what's not. And I know that our son wasn't going to go see the movie. He wasn't going to go see it. He and I talked about it, and both of us kind of agreed, like, well, I mean, we're not against women's empowerment, but we're not necessarily going to be interested in seeing a superhero movie that doesn't. I mean, we're used to Captain America and the Incredible Hulk and everything else. Um, the girl power thing, like the 100 pound white woman who saves the world kind of thing, and then she has like a black and Asian best friend, like that kind of narrative's kind of played out. And I knew that it wasn't going to do well when they started pushing it out. From what I understand, it's been pretty much a flop. In fact, if I Google the Marvels, the first articles that I saw were kind of referring to the movie as kind of a box office flop, and said they said it did not do well, and this fits a bigger, broader theme where Disney's just messing up right now. Disney, well, used to be one of my favorite companies. I talk to you guys about stocks all the time. Disney used to be one of those stocks I used to really speak highly on. I don't do that anymore. Disney is going through a big proxy fight, well, somewhat of a proxy fight in terms of activist investors and things like that they have to deal with, and then they put out this movie which shows that they've just become tone deaf in terms of understanding what the audience wants. There was nothing about this movie that said to me like, "Oh yeah, people are really going to go see this." So they said here, in this is according to the Associated Press. Since 2008's Iron Man, the Marvel machine has been one of the most unstoppable forces in box office history. Now, though, that aura of invincibility is showing signs of wear and tear. The superhero factory hit a new low with the weekend launch of The Marvels, which opened with just 47 million according to studio estimates Sunday. The 33rd installment of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a sequel to the 2019 Captain Marvel, managed less than a third of the 153.4 million its predecessor launched with before ultimately taking in 1.13 billion worldwide. Sequels, especially in Marvel Land, aren't supposed to fall off a cliff. Yet the Marvels debuted with more than 100 million less than Captain Marvel opened with, something no sequel has ever done before. So they've never had a sequel that that made less money than the original movie on that level, $100 million less than the original movie. They said the previous low for a Walt Disney-owned Marvel movie was Ant-Man, which bowed with 57.2 million way back in 2015. That's 8 years ago. Otherwise, you have to go outside the Disney Marvel Cinematic Universe to find such a slow start for a Marvel movie. Releases like Universal's The Incredible Hulk with 55.4 million in 2008, Sony's Morbius with 39 million in 2022, or 20th Century Fox's Fantastic Four reboot with 25.6 million. Let's see here. But The Marvels was a 200 million plus sequel to a $1 billion blockbuster. It was also an exceptional Marvel release in numerous ways. First of all, it was directed by Nia DaCosta, who is a black woman, right? So shout out to her for getting that opportunity to direct the movie. It's unfortunate that this movie did not do well. It was also a rare Marvel movie with 3 leading women, but the reviews weren't very strong. However, they did have another 63 million in overseas ticket sales. So if you add the 63 million to the 47 million, well, that's over 100 million. That doesn't sound terrible. It's 110 million dollars in that first weekend. It may go down as a turning point in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Over the years, the franchise has collected $33 billion globally, a point Disney noted in reporting its gross this Sunday. Excuse me. But with movie screens and streaming platforms increasingly crowded with superhero films and series, some analysts have detected a new fatigue setting in for audiences. Disney chief executive Bob Iger himself has spoken about possible oversaturation for Marvel. So give me a yes or no in the chat. Yes or no. How many of you feel like there's just too many damn superhero movies out? How many of you, give me a yes or no. How many of you feel like between Disney Plus and the movie theater and everything else, it's just too much content, too many superheroes, too many narratives, too many things trying to suck you in. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like it's making my head spin. I think there's just too much content, and that don't even count the fact that you probably got 100 million people that have a podcast. Everybody and their mama got a podcast. Now, when I first started doing this stuff on this channel, it was way back about a decade ago. There weren't a ton of people doing this stuff. When I really first got started in '07, there was almost nobody. Now it's everybody. Now I can't keep up with everything. I would encourage anybody who thinks about becoming a content creator no matter what level you're on, whether you're a high level filmmaker or you're just somebody trying to do a podcast, really be thoughtful about your niche and really be thoughtful about your monetization strategy. A lot of people don't know how to make money from a podcast. They just want to look good. They just wanted to, so they'll make content just to make it, and it becomes kind of an ego exercise. And if you look at, for example, right now, Brandon Marshall with his podcast, I Am Athlete, when I heard that he was 12 million in the hole on his podcast, that told me that, this was a guy who invested a lot of money creating something that looks beautiful and brilliant and fly, but there's no barrier to entry. Anybody can create a podcast about sports and athletes. There's millions of them, I'm sure. And also, I think he was hoping that one of the big studios would buy the podcast because there was a point where these companies, these streaming services, would buy anybody's content and pay an insane price, and it became kind of a gold rush for a little while. I think that gold rush is over. I really do. I think that in order to develop content now, I think you have to have a really clear niche that you're dealing with, and also you have to have some sort of clear monetization strategy so you can actually get the economic fuel to make the thing work. There must be intentionality in content creation. So going back to Marvel, they sell movie tickets. They were very good at it. They sold tons of them. So why in the world did Marvel not find a way to understand what their audience wanted with this latest movie, The Marvels? Anybody, Stevie Wonder could have seen that this was not going to be a successful, a successful film event. I didn't see anything about the promotion that made me say, oh yeah, this is the 8,942nd superhero movie that I would like to see. I can't wait to see this one too. Right? There's so many out there. I just can't wait to see yet another movie that's going to cause my head to hurt as I'm trying to remember everything that's happening in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and all the subtleties and multiverse weirdness and everything else. I like stuff like that. I'm a mathematician. I love talk about alternative universes and different realities and complex storylines. But Lord Jesus, they went a little bit too far and went a little bit too hard, and I think it's going to cost them. Now, anyway, do me a favor, guys. Please hit that thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. You're watching drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I have a new book out called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. That book comes with a workbook, a training workbook with slides and flashcards. So if you'd like to go take a look at that, just go to drboycebooks.com. That's drboycebooks.com. Also, this podcast is on Spotify and Apple. We have 1.3 million downloads on Spotify. Thank you guys for your support. So if you go to Spotify, I have 2 podcasts on Spotify, this one and another one called How to Make Money Without Working. If that's what you're interested in, just go to Spotify and look up my name or look up my podcast name. Now, Black Jesus says, I have no idea what I'm talking about. He says the movie cost $270 million to make, and when it comes to box office, you only get half of the gross, and that doesn't include marketing, which is around $150 million. Okay, so Black Jesus, that's a cool name. All right, so Black Jesus, he says, I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't. All I know is that the general consensus with this film is that it is a flop. The general consensus, if you look at most media, like let me read some of the headlines to you, Black Jesus, brother, so you don't come in with so much hostility. Sounds like you're a little angry today, and I hope your girlfriend gives you some so you can chill out a little bit. I'm not the one you're mad at, brother. It's really your woman. You need to go talk to her first. All right. So anyway, I'm playing. I'm being silly. See, saying stuff like this is what only makes it worse. All right. So if I look up the Marvels, and I Google search the Marvels in box office, let me tell you what's going to happen, Black Jesus. Let me read some of the headlines to you. Here's the first one. CNN. The Marvels struggles at box office on opening weekend. AP. The Marvels melts down at the box office, marking a new low for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Are you listening, Black Jesus? Are you there, man? Don't go nowhere, bro. I really want to talk to you because I love you. I'm glad you're here. Because it's okay to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I have a PhD. I'm not. I have no insecurities about my intelligence level. First thing you learn when you get when you educate at this level is that you don't know everything. So I'm totally open to the fact that I might be making a mistake. It's okay. All right. So let's see. New York Times. Marvel flounders at the box office with The Marvels. Rotten Tomatoes. Weekend box office results. The Marvels wins weekend with lowest MCU opening. So they won the weekend, but it was the lowest opening of a Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm just reading the headline. I haven't even seen these headlines, Black Jesus. I want you to hang out with me, Black Jesus. Let me know you're still there. I really want to. Don't be a troll that just bops in and bops out. Like you're going to troll. Like you got to be committed to your trolling, man. You got to be in it. You got to troll with both feet down, 10 toes down. Let's keep going. Hollywood Reporter, China box office. The Marvels bombs as superhero fatigue deepens. Let's see. Variety, China box office. The Marvels disappoints with 11.5 million. IndieWire says Marvel taught us that movies need to be events, but the MCU no longer, and I can't read the rest, but I'm sure it's not a positive title. Professor the film fan says, I think a lot of people just want to root for the director. I've heard a lot of logic and plot problems. Yeah, I want to root for the director too. I really do. But this narrative is not a good one. And here's the thing though about media. Let me just tell you about media. Media is funny. People can create narratives that literally are not true, but people will just buy into them as if they're true. They can create narratives that don't fit, that are not consistent with reality, but people will just buy that as reality. I just know this because like there were false narratives. I've had false narratives created about me. Right? They're really hilarious. Like somebody took one picture. I think Kwame Brown, the basketball player, took one picture of me at my wedding. Willie D from the Ghetto Boys and D1 were at my wedding, and they saw me take a picture with me, my wife, and Willie D, and made up a whole narrative that my wife was secretly in love with Willie D. Now, ain't never met my wife, don't even know Willie D, ain't never had a conversation with me, but made up a whole narrative. And next thing I know, all these people saying, oh, your wife is secretly in love with Willie D. And I'm like, did you talk to her? Did you interview her? Did you ask her these things? Because me and Willie talked about it, and we ain't heard nothing like that. And I sure as hell ain't gonna marry a woman who wants to marry somebody else. Like if she want to marry somebody else, she should marry somebody else. Last time I checked, my woman was my woman, right? But that's what happens, right? That's what occurs. People just create a narrative, and then some people run with it. Another narrative, false narrative that was created was that somehow I conspired with the founders of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund to make all this money off of black people. I've never ever been an endorser of the fund. I've never ever been on the staff of the fund. I have never received a penny from the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, but that became the narrative. The narrative is Dr. Boyce is working with the people at the Tulsa Fund and da da da. And I'm like, I'm not in business with these people at all with the fund. Like, I know them, but I know a lot of people. Like I said, I know D1 and Willie D and Julian Gordon and a lot of great people, but that doesn't mean I make money from their business, right? So same thing is true here. When I'm looking at this thing with the Marvels, there is basically a narrative created, a narrative, and I don't think this narrative is fair to the black director. I don't have her name in front of me, but she seems very talented. I know this narrative is not fair for the cast members who appear to be very talented and committed to the role. It's not even fair to Marvel and Disney. And the reason it's not fair to them is because remember what was going on when this movie got released. Anybody been following the news? What else was going on? What else was going on? Write it in the chat. There was a writer's strike. The whole time there was a writer's strike and director's strike. So they couldn't even promote this movie for the whole time they were trying to put it out. So ultimately, even though there is a narrative that can be created around superhero fatigue or too much girl power, like nobody wants to really see all that necessarily in the superhero movies. I know a lot of teenage boys that might go see a Marvel movie are not going to go see one that stars women because they're assuming the women are the ones that are going to show up. But I have girls in the house, teenage girls, who were right in the sweet spot of the demographic that movie was supposed to appeal to. And let me tell you I can tell you exactly how many conversations occurred in my house with my girls about this movie, and the answer is zero. They did not at one point mention the movie. They didn't know about the movie. They didn't talk about the movie. But you know what movie that they did talk about that was a Disney movie that I knew was going to be a hit? The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid, when that came out, oh, that was an event. That was an event. I saw our 13-year-old literally like planned her whole life around the release of that movie. Like that was literally the thing that she was talking about the most that week was this movie, and she said all her friends are going to see it. It was the last day of school. They went to see the movie like they had to go, like it was church. Like it was like the church, like church at Christmas. Everybody feels like they got to go to church at Christmas. That's how they felt about the Little Mermaid. I knew that movie was going to be a hit when it got released. So in this particular case, I think Disney definitely missed the mark. I think that some of that narrative about superhero movies losing their swag is partly true. But I still think that there's room for Disney to do it. But they got to do what Bob Iger says he's been doing, which is reducing the amount of content that they're putting out, simplifying the storylines just a little bit, not feeling like everything has to be made into a series on Disney Plus or some new feature film. Go back to the basics, and then stop overspending on content. You're spending too damn much, and that's why Disney took one of the things that should have been the best thing in the world for them. The streaming should have been the best thing in the world to happen to Disney, and it became the worst. It should have been the best thing on earth for their cash flow, for their revenue stream. How in the heck? Think about this: you got 100 million people giving you $10 a month or something like that. That's an insane amount of money. That's crazy. $10 billion a month should be enough to make all the content that you want and to do it profitably. And these streaming services got into an arms race, and it became ridiculous. And next thing you know, Disney is in trouble. They're having problems. So I really think that from a business standpoint, I think that there's something to learn here about not just content creation, but how it fits into the overall monetization strategy, and how also markets change, business and industries change, and you want to change with it. You always want to be on top of things. You want to stay with the flow. All right. So anyway, do me a favor, guys. Please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. You're watching drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. In the Black Business School on Tuesday, we're doing the portfolio power play. I'm doing that on Tuesday. And it's a 1 month thing. So if you want to join us for the portfolio power play, where I can break stock market investing down for you very simply, we're going to meet Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can actually just get on our text list, and I'll send you some free stuff, and I'll send you a link where you can join the portfolio power play if you want. Just text the word stock to 31996. You can text stock to 31996. And also, those of you watching on B1 Nation, We do have a social media platform. We're moving away from Facebook and Instagram. I do have an Instagram, Dr. Boyce Finance, but we've created our own social media platform called B1 Nation. The URL is B1, the number one, nation.us. That's B1nation.us. Okay, so let me kind of finish up here on a couple other key points. I'm going to talk a little bit about, or actually, if you have a question or a thought you'd like to share, we can do a quick little Q&A on some of this. And also, I would say that generally speaking, I'm hoping that you're investing consistently. I hope that you are paying attention to what's happening in the business world. One thought that I had this weekend is that when we don't get our kids started with wealth and investing at an early age, it can cause significant problems for them later on. So I would hope that you are going to, I really hope that you will consider getting your kids involved with investing early, because that's extremely important in their economic well-being. All right. So anyway, let me see. Let's see. Mac West says Disney Plus wants like $30 a month. No way. Is it $30 a month? Holy crap. Let me see. I said 10. Oh my God. Let me see. Let me look up the Disney Plus. I didn't know it was 30. I gotta cancel my subscription. Is it really 30? No way. No way it costs that much. No way. Let me see. Um, Let me look here. Disney Plus plans and new rates supported worldwide. Let's see here. Tech Radar has some stuff on Disney Plus. No, it looks like they've got something for $7.99. I don't think they want 30. Let's see, Disney plus a monthly premium gives you it's $13.99. And the Disney Plus bundle duo is $9.99. I don't see any $30 plans here. So I'm sorry, Mac. I think that might be a little bit off, but it's still going up, right? Inflation is still hitting hard. Let's see here. Next question. Disney put too much woke stuff in their films and cartoons. Well, you know what? I'll let you be the judge of whether they were too woke. But one thing I will tell you is that Disney, in my view, made a terrible mistake when they got involved in the culture wars. When they got to the point where, if you remember, there was the whole "Don't Say Gay" thing that happened with Ron DeSantis and the Republicans in Florida, and I think that they made things messy for themselves by fighting with the Florida Republicans. I don't think that was necessary. I don't think that was good for either one of them, either side. I think it was incredibly unhealthy to get involved in that if you're trying to do business. Let's see, Dr. Vibe, the Dr. Vibe Show. Everybody should follow the Dr. Vibe Show. I love Dr. Vibe. You're a good man, Dr. Vibe. I can't wait to meet you in person. He says, "Are you planning to do a content creator masterclass?" Yeah, I've been thinking about it. I need to do it. I've been thinking about it for like years, and I know the hard part is that I already teach different things, but I have created a lot of content, and honestly, even though I've created a lot of content and we've gotten over 500,000,000 views and we have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I have two channels that have 500,000 subscribers, as well as some others that have between 50,000 and 150,000. But I never saw myself as like a great content creator. I see myself as a guy who has something to say. And I would say that my strength is that I do deliver consistency and substance. My weakness is that I'm not so much into flash, and I think that that's probably what stopped me from doing a content creator masterclass. But I do have a lot of attack approaches, and tactics that I think could be beneficial. So so hold me to that. I mean, and Dr. Vibe knows my wife, so you can hold me to that. I will do a content creator masterclass at some point, and also I'd like to do some sort of class on how to do an online course. So yeah, hold me to that. Right now, the big thing that I'm working on is stuff related to stock markets and stock options. Like we're gonna do our portfolio power play on Tuesday. If you text the word stock to 31996, I'll send you the information tomorrow. And also, I'll just send you some other free stuff, like a list of AI stocks, things like that. Just text stock to 31996. And then also, we do our book club on Wednesday where we're reading Claude Anderson books like Powernomics and Black Labor, White Wealth. And then on Thursday or Friday, I want to meet with my prime students in our stock options training camp. And then there's like some other stuff we're doing on the estate planning and real estate. So I just haven't been able to get around to that. But I think a content creation masterclass will be a lot of fun. So I think I will do something like that. And so I'm gonna be looking for you in class. So you better show up now. Don't have me out here looking crazy now. Anyway, all right. So let's see here. UGB says Dr. Boyce to talk about the One Nation. What about Black Enough? Sorry, I'm spelling it wrong. Oh, Be One Nation. Yeah, well, we changed Black Enough to Be One Nation. They're the same thing. So if you go to blackenough.com, that would actually take you to b1nation.com. So, oh, sorry, b1nation.us. Be the number one nation.us. I hope I didn't say .com. So be the number one nation.us. What's your opinion on GBTC? I'm sorry, Jarrell, I don't have stocks in front of me, so I don't know what GBTC is. You can say that for Stock Market Tuesdays, though. We're going to do something on Tuesday for sure. Any thoughts about the mayor of Dolton, Illinois, fleecing her own people? I don't know who the mayor of Dolton, Illinois is. What did she do? That sounds crazy. Let me see here. I know the mayor of Chicago is getting some heat for the way he's handling the whole situation with the migrants. Oh, I see. Okay, that mayor who was doing the hip hop stuff and was spending money on certain things. I don't know enough details about it, but I know that she's getting a hard time. Her name is Tiffany Henyard, and they did an investigative report. They revealed that Dolton residents are shelling out big bucks for the mayor's security details. So it looks like there's a lot of people mad at her, but I don't know the details, so I can't really speak on that. There's actually a woman who's joining the faculty of the Black Business School who used to be a mayor of a town in Illinois. And one thing about Illinois politics is that it's very messy, and I don't believe hardly anything that comes out of the mouths of the politicians. And I'm really skeptical of any narratives created by the media because I've seen just blatant corruption occur in the state of Illinois. So I don't know what's going on with that. But let me conclude on some of the stuff with Disney and this latest movie they put out, the Marvels. I think that what Disney has done is it seems like they've gotten a little bit arrogant. They had a good quarterly report. I think that they're trying to become a good company again. They captured about 20 years of magic after Michael Eisner left. Bob Iger really took them to another level, and it looked like they could do no wrong. I feel like now they've gotten a little bit sloppy. I also think that after this writer strike, the gold rush for content creation has kind of ended at that level where studios are not paying the same insane amounts of money to get content, because what happened was that there used to be a business strategy of grow at all cost. They were told to just grow at all costs. They were told to just go out, get the content made, pay the content creators whatever you got to pay them to make sure you're number one and that you have the most market share. Well, the stock market stopped that. The stock market put an end to that. The investors said, no more. We don't want that crap anymore. We need you to actually go out and make a profit. So now the adjustment that's occurred is that studios are not paying insane amounts of money for content anymore. They're now aiming for profitability and not just subscribers anymore. And that's, in my view, a more intelligent and responsible business model anyway. And a lot of this was triggered by the Fed increasing interest rates and making the cost of money higher. Money now has value. It didn't have value in 2017. It didn't have value in 2014. Now money has value again. That's why you have to pay higher interest rates to get money, but you also receive higher interest rates when you put money in the bank, right? Do you notice that you're paying higher interest rates on new mortgages and things like that, but you're also receiving higher interest rates on your money from the bank because your money now has value again because the Fed has kind of slowed things down. So as a result of this, it's changed everybody's business model. I think the studios are still going to be using AI like crazy. I think that the writers and the workers are still going to be in trouble. But I think at the same time, the world is a little bit fairer. In one, because the writer strike seemed to really benefit the writers quite a bit, and then number two, be forced to have a more responsible business model. So overall, I think the industry is starting to come back to where it has more common sense. Now, again, going back to the point of content creation, though, if you are a content creator, just know from where I'm standing, what I'm seeing is that there's too much content now. Too many people are just making stuff. Anybody can create a blog. So one way to differentiate your blog or your platform or your studio or your podcast or whatever is find some way to invest in that thing. If you find your niche audience and you run ads and drive traffic to that content, and that content drives people to do something, to buy something from you. There's some commerce backing up what you're doing. Then you can create a sustainable business model. The content has to link to profitability, and it also must be supported and sustained by some sort of economic push. That old school model of sort of organically, getting 500,000 subscribers just because you got lucky, that doesn't work for most people. For most people that are successful, in my opinion, you have to have some sort of push to kind of get your platform going because there's just so much noise out here. That's just my 2 cents. All right, so a couple more questions, then we're going to bounce out. Byron says, thanks for the options course Thursday. I will remember. Good, Byron. So you joined us for our options event. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And we were talking about selling stock options to make money. And we did that. We did the damn thing, and it was a lot of fun. It was Prime 101. If you'd like to join us in the Prime program, it stands for Passive Recurring Income Machine. I'm very good. I know stock options well. That's what I was trained on. The URL to take a look at that is drboyceprime.com. That's drboyceprime, prime.com. And we meet once every couple of weeks. And also, there's a ton of content in there already. And I encourage you to look at the testimonials. And also, there's a money back guarantee. We're so confident that people love it that we'll give you your money back if you're not happy. And our customer service team is right on it. They'll respond to you in less than 2 hours. That's how good they are. We believe in Black excellence in the Black Business School. We are the best Black-owned institution in the country. We are the best on earth at teaching Black wealth. That is what we are focused on, and we are Black wealth surgeons. We are good at what we do. So feel free to just go take a look, drboyceprime.com. Okay, so let's see. Last couple questions before we get out of here. Hit the thumbs up button, by the way. Love your jacket. Thank you very much, Lisa Parker. I appreciate that. I got this fight by doing a half marathon with my wife. I need to do another one. I'm gonna tell you, I don't like half marathons. It's like a torture chamber because it's like nonstop running. But what I love about it is that you lose so much weight when you're training for it, and you lose a ton of weight when you're done, and you feel good about yourself. But the problem is you also feel really bad because you're super sore. And so it's like this mix. It's like this horribly unfortunate blend of like pleasure and pain at the same time. But I'm glad I did it. All right. So anyway, guys, I'm about to get out of here. So God bless you. Thank you so much for listening. I love you. I appreciate you, and I wish you well in your lives. And I will see you guys a little bit later on this week. My new book is The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. You can get a copy at drboycebooks.com. Also, we have financial flashcards for your kids that can teach them wealth. And also my book, The 10 Commandments, I have flashcards for those as well. So feel free to go to drboycebooks.com and take a look. We have accessories for the whole family that will make you a Black wealth ninja and help you change these generational curses and go to the next level. That's what we do. That's what we're good at. That's where we live. God bless you. See you guys soon. Have a good day. Peace.